Is April 21st, 2017. This is the Watchman News, and I'm Mike Callahan. So earlier today, I was scrolling through Facebook, looking around for news. Not that that's the only place I get my news. And Tim Pool had posted. He's in California right now, and he had posted that they experienced a power outage at his location. Well, it wasn't too long from then. Dabu started making videos and whatnot, and it was being reported that there were power outages both in California and in New York. And so I've been kind of keeping my eye out on things, trying to get as much information as I could before I said anything, because my gears were really turning the moment that I heard about this, especially in light of everything that's going on, right? So we're going to take a look at this report from Zero Hedge, and I know I don't do a lot of reports from Zero Hedge, and that's because their reports go all over the place. But this we know happened, and, I do suspect there's something to it. I mean, two locations totally across the country from each other, mass power outages at the same time. Something's funky with that. Anyway, as the headline says, total chaos, cyber attack feared as multiple cities hit with simultaneous power grid failures. The U.S. power grid appears to have been hit with multiple power outages affecting San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles. I do believe Tim was in Los Angeles. Officials report that business, traffic, and day-to-day life has come to a standstill in San Francisco, reportedly the worst hit of the three major cities currently experiencing outages. Power companies in all three regions have yet to elaborate on the cause, though a fire at a substation was the original reason given by San Francisco officials. A series of subsequent power outages in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York City left commuters stranded and traffic backed up Friday morning. Although the outages occurred around the same time, there is as of yet no evidence that they were connected by anything more than coincidence. The first outage occurred at around 7:20 a.m. in New York, when the power went down at the 7th Avenue and 53rd Street subway station, which sent a shock wave of significant delays out from the hub and into the rest of the subway system. By 11:30 a.m., the city's MTA confirmed that generators were running again in the station, although the New York subways were set to run delayed into the afternoon. So that's a announcement there from ABC7. It says later in the morning, power outages were reported in Los Angeles International Airport, as well as in several other areas around the city. There's a map with all the different locations. I'll put the link to this article in the description, as always. The San Francisco Fire Department was responding to more than 100 calls for service in the financial district and beyond, including 20 elevators with people stuck inside, but reported no immediate injuries. Everywhere, sirens blared as engines maneuvered along streets jammed with traffic. Traffic lights were out at scores of intersections, and cars were backing up on downtown streets as drivers grew frustrated and honked at each other. The cause of the outage has not yet been made clear, though given the current geopolitical climate, it is not out of the question to suggest a cyber attack could be to blame. It has also been suggested that the current outages could be a result of a secretive nuclear EMP drill by the federal government. We already know that they're doing some pretty major drills in the country at this time. As we have previously reported, the entire national power grid has been mapped by adversaries of the United States, and it is believed that sleep trojans or malware may exist within the computer systems that maintain the grid. Which I've said for a long time, folks. Just the thought that those computers are still connected to the same internet that you and I use is insane. They're begging for this, right? It would be so easy to put all those computers on a totally different system, on an insanely encrypted satellite feed, running an operating system other than any one that is out there available to us, right? Simple things that they can do, but they're not. Why? Anyway, I'll continue. In a 2016 report, it was noted that our entire way of life has been left vulnerable to saboteurs that could cause cascading blackouts across the United States for days or weeks at a time. It isn't just EMPs and natural disaster that possess a threat to the grid, but there is also the potential for attacks on individual power substations in the vast network of decentralized and largely unguarded power grid chain. A U.S. government study established that there would be a major extended blackouts if more than 3 key substations were destroyed, whether by criminals, looters, terrorists, gangs, or pranksters. It would take very little to bring down the present system, and there is currently very little the system can do to protect against this wide-open threat. Folks, when they did this report, right, these total morons listed the substations that would need to be taken out to cause this. There was like 7 substations that were listed. That's the height of stupidity. And not long after that, in California, there was either 1 or 2 different substations that got hit, right? Using the very same techniques that were mentioned in that study. They, from my understanding, shot the casing of the transformer, causing the oil that's inside the transformer to keep it cool to leak out and overheat, and the transformer just burnt up. So, all this stuff to me isn't coincidence. No way. Let's see here. Whether the current outages are the result of a targeted infrastructure cyber attack or simply a coincidence, most Americans think the impossible can't happen. As the Prepper's Blueprint author Tess Pennington highlights, a grid-down scenario won't just be a minor inconvenience if it goes on for more than a day or 2. Consider for a moment how drastically your life would change without the continuous flow of energy the grid delivers. While manageable during a short-term disaster, losing access to the following critical elements of our just-in-time society would wreak havoc on the system. Challenges or shutdowns of business commerce, breakdown of our basic infrastructure, communications, mass transportation, supply chains, inability to access money via ATM machines, payroll service interruptions in public facilities, schools, workplaces may close, and public gatherings, inability to have access to clean drinking water. Folks, and this is making light of it. This is making absolute light of the situation, because let me tell you something. You lose the power for 2 or 3 days, guess what? You're not going to need to worry about the ATMs, right? You're not going to need to worry about payroll. I doubt you're going to be thinking much about the public schools. Okay? Why? Because this is going to be a big one right here. You're going to be trying to figure out how you're going to get clean water. And from there, you're going to be trying to figure out how you're going to keep sanitary conditions, considering that your toilet won't flush no more, right? Then you're going to be looking for food, which, by the way, after 3 days, pretty much anything perishable is going to be gone. It doesn't take much, and it doesn't take long. This is why I tell people to prep. Do what you can. Even if you can't do much, do it. Have food. Have a way to filter water. You have to, folks. Let's see. It is for this reason that we have long encouraged Americans to prepare for this potentially devastating scenario by considering emergency food reserves, clean water reserves, and even home defense strategies in the event of a widespread outage. The majority of Americans have about 3 days' worth of food in their pantry. Imagine for a moment what day 4 might look like in any major city that goes dark. And then it talks about this clip here from the movie American Blackout. We've actually played that on the air before. So, it's seriously something to think about. Everything that's going on, I would ask people to think extra hard about it, because it doesn't take much. It just absolutely does not take much. Anyway, again, the link I'll put in the description, and keep your eyes open, as always.